You're listening to the Hunt Stealth Podcast with Ryan Uffins, the podcast where we dive headfirst into the wild. Whether you're an aspiring hunter or an adventurer seeking the untamed, together we'll explore the strategies and stories that lead to success in the great outdoors.
Welcome to another episode of the Hunt Stealth Podcast. Excited to have Anthony Williams on the show with us today. Anthony, thanks for joining me, brother.
Man, I'm excited to be here, man. It's been a long time coming.
It has been. You've been weathering the hurricane down there in North Carolina.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was offshore. We had a bunch of big waves and stuff like that, and a lot of water rushing into places when the tide came in. But other than that, we weathered pretty good.
Well, I'm glad you guys are making it out okay. It always can get a little bit sketchy when you see the hurricane's starting to come in. It can either get really bad or it can get, not too bad. So fortunate this time it's not too shabby. But anyway, Anthony, for people that don't know you, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself and your love for the outdoors?
Yeah, man, I'm an entrepreneur. Me and my business partner hopped into the gymnastics business. So we own a couple gyms for kids. And as it got more successful, I had more time to allot to the outdoors, right? So, but I've been in the outdoors my entire life. Like as far as being able to hunt, my hunting in the beginning was literally a BB gun going in the woods with my brothers and just shooting anything that we could, just going out there thinking we're hunting, taking food and going off on excursions or whatever. But it wasn't real like hunting. It was just kids going in the outdoors.
Oh, dude, I can relate, man.
Yeah. And so it's weird to see now where I am and think back on how I got into the outdoors. Because I grew up in Warren County, North Carolina, and we didn't have indoor plumbing growing up, right? So we were the outdoors. So when people talk about, hey, crapping in the woods, I'm like,
I know a thing or two about that.
Oh yeah, carrying I guess we call it a shit pot in the morning. Like when it's and the shit pot's not in the portion of the house that has the heater. So when you go out there to use it, you have to dump it. It's frozen. So then you have to take the damn shit pot out to the outhouse and you have to dump it, right? And you hate it to be the one that had to do it because it's like, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I'm kind of used to it. As far as the outdoors, yeah, just essentially, and then from there, just try to start doing as many things as I could.
That's exciting. Yeah. So right now in North Carolina, you do fishing tours, correct?
Yeah. So I'm a charter captain here. Like I said, I'm still a primary entrepreneur out of Raleigh, but I take people on fishing trips, big game fishing trips. I don't do inshore. I leave that to the guys that are here. I fish inshore for myself, but as far as taking people, I want to take people out for the big shit.
Yeah. What's been some of like the funnest fish that you've been able to catch or take people out to catch when you say like the big game, the big fish?
Oh, it's definitely going to be marlin fishing. Hands down marlin fishing. Yeah, marlin fishing is like you're hunting. Right? You're hunting. Like you are literally trying to figure out how to get that one fish, that type of fish, right? And it's not like, there's bycatch, but you aren't even trying to catch the bycatch. Like you're putting big bait for big fish and it's all or nothing. So it could be a waste, but that's what you're going after.
Well, it was like it's opening weekend here in Utah. And so, like, we had been out scouting, and we had seen plenty of bucks that we were going to go chase down. And then we knew the exact areas we were going to be. And then we went out for the weekend, and not one buck. Yeah. We were between 8,000, 10,000 feet elevation. We did 10 miles worth of hiking. It just in one day, and I'm going like, so I'm like, somebody was checking Instagram. Everybody's like, hey, it's opening weekend, we're coming. The Bucks are like, all right, boys, let's bounce.
We're out. We are out.
But that's fun.
Oh no,
So,
I get it.
So what is your favorite type of hunting? I mean, you're a charter captain, so obviously fishing, is something that you clearly have a passion for. Got the entrepreneurial spirit to build that out. But what type of big game is your favorite to chase?
Oh, elk. I meant just same reason for anybody else. I love hunting elk. I love turkey hunting, and they are so similar. And I know you've heard people talk about that, but that responding to a call, I like elk during the rut. It's just something about it, man. Once I got exposed to that, I didn't ever want to look back.
When was the first time you went elk hunting? How long ago was that?
So it wasn't very long ago. That would have been about 10 years ago. And my buddy Chad, who's on my social media that I took down to New Zealand, Chad took me out there. And again, I'm coming from North Carolina, man. And I'm like, look, he was like, tomorrow morning, we're going to get started. So I flew in not thinking about getting acclimated to elevation because I live at sea level, right?
Right.
So brother goes out there. I get there. I go to sleep. I wake up in the morning and we drive. He's like, all right, we're just going to go. We're going to get set about 4:00 in the morning. And we go down this windy road and then we stop. And to my right is the abyss. Like I'm talking straight down to hell. All right. And then beside me, it's just straight up. So I'm like, well, we're going to walk down the road and probably go to some area and be able to, go after these elk. Chad gets out the car, gets the headlight and everything. I get myself all situated. And he said, you ready? I'm like, yeah. Like, which way we going? He went straight up. Like, I'm talking straight up. Like, it didn't even, and we hunted for 16 hours that day. Like, my first day. And I'm telling you, I thought there were times, and Chad ain't right. Anybody ever hunted with Chad has no, Chad's not right. Like, and he does this thing where he goes, if he ever does this, I'm like, look, man, I guess that was a good day, man. Let's go ahead and head on in. And he goes, yeah, we're just going to, and do this. Whenever he does that, that means you're not going home for another year. Like he just goes and he's like, we're just going to side hill or whatever. I learned about side hilling. He's like, we're just going to side hill right over here. I said, well, where's the truck? And he's like, it's just right over there. And it's not. It was the most gruesome day of my life. And I loved it. Every time. And if he hears an elk, it can be on Pluto. He's like, do you hear that? I'm like, yeah, that sounds like pretty long ways away, brother. So let's just go ahead and go back, find something else. Let's go. And one time he picked up my bag. I said, look, dude, I'm dying. Let me set my bag down here. I'll GPS it or whatever. He looks at me. He found a shed, has a shed on the back, his pack, grabs my pack, turns around and says, let's go. I felt like a little bitch. I was like, nah, man, just go ahead and just put it down, man. I got it, man. I got it. It's the worst day of my life. Yeah.
And
that was day one.
And best day too.
Oh, absolutely. I'm hooked. So I trained so differently after that to just prepare from that point on, and it was over.
So as somebody who comes from, because I mean, I've talked to a couple guys from the East Coast. How do you train to be prepared for like the mountains out here?
Okay, so my first, I've tried everything from backpacking with weights and all of that other stuff. The best training that I found, and the best that I've ever performed out at elevation, was from riding a bicycle. All right. So you find the hilliest places you can find and you crush the hill, and cruise down and let the lactic acid build up in your system, right? Just let it build up. And then when you get to the bottom, crush again, because that's the only way to duplicate it. Because, when you're going up there, you're hiking, like when we were climbing, he'd climb 20 feet and I'm out of breath. And he'd stop and let me catch my breath. So I was like, how can I duplicate that? And the only way for me to duplicate it was that bicycle in my area. So, and I'm taking some long rides, and it's the hilliest areas you can go to. Crush, cruise. Like, don't even pedal. Like, just let the lactic acid build up and be gruesome in your soul. And the only other thing I do is I do what is called, people like, when I go to the gym, people are like, here it comes, coming to climb the mountain. So climbing the mountain is, if you can't get on a stair step or those automatic steps because all the women take them. So you get on I get on a so I get on a treadmill at the highest incline known. And then I put on a moose hunting show. And so it's literally right here by the time you're on the highest incline. And I put it at about three and a half, 4. Yeah. So you put it at like 3.5, 4, and you just climb and you just climb and just go and watch the hunting show. And that's the best way I find myself to prepare.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I mean, if you don't have hills, I mean, I'm fortunate. I'm just like a 1 mile drive to the mountains, and I throw on a pack and just go up, zigzag up the mountain. One of the things, Casey Harbitson had given me some advice for those of you that, you know, if you're new to hunting and you're near the mountains, throw a 40-pound bag of salt in your backpack, and then hike up. And if coming down it's too steep and it gets tough on your knees, just start dumping some salt out. All the deer and other animal in the area will love it, and you can save your knees a little bit, but it gets used to packing. You know, when we went out this weekend, we were going to, you know, we had set up camp and we were going to hike in and stay the night. But, you know, Dustin, who you had talked to, and I, like, we ended up getting a later start. That's my fault. But anyway, we got up there and set up camp, and we're like, hey, tomorrow let's like hike in and set up camp. So like I had like a 40-pound pack that I was taking in with the intent of like, hey, we were going to set up shop out there, stay the night. But then a storm ended up coming in, and we were like, nah, we're not going to, let's just head back in. But
yeah,
dude, having that weight on you, I think that biking is, you know, for somebody who's not in an area that's mountainous, I think that's actually really good advice to kind of use the hills, like push on that bike and then just kind of like chill out, coast down, let that lactic acid build up and repeat. But yeah, if you can find a stair climber in the gym, you know, jump on it and do so at your own peril.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, and I find that bike, man, that was it just so happened after training that time, I was able to kill my elk in like the first 2 days of being there, right? So, and then after that, I just went along like with Chad for them to chase elk, and calling and all of that stuff. So it was good. I felt great.
Anthony, are you bow hunting, or are you hunting with the rifle?
That's all bow. Like that, my moose. There's a bunch of animals I've killed with the bow, and I love bow hunting. But there are times that you break out a rifle. Like if I'm going to an area, that I've never hunted for, something that I want to get and learn the ropes of, like learn that region, like freaking New Zealand, going down there for 11 days. There was no way. There was a couple opportunities we could have shot with a bow, but there was no way. There was no way we could have bow hunted that, the area we were at for those stag. Like it was, at least the first time, because you don't know what you don't know. But now I could definitely, I could do it. I want, the next time I do it will be with a bow. So when you've been out, so did you start bow hunting then, like 10 years ago? So was it after that elk hunt when you started bow hunting, or? Oh no, I've been bow hunting. That's what I started with. That's what I killed. I killed my first deer with a bow, and that was 20 something years ago. Yeah. Okay. So I killed my first deer ever, was with a bow, and I've never looked back.
And where was that?
First deer, North Carolina.
North
It was
Carolina.
North
Okay.
Carolina. Yeah, yeah. Killed him with a bow, and I've never looked back.
Right on.
I love it.
That's fun. What have been some of like the wildest places that you've ever been hunting? I mean, New Zealand obviously is pretty unique.
Yeah, yeah. New Zealand was pretty gnarly, man. And it's when I would that was I don't even know what to say about New Zealand because when you watch it on the videos and you get your pictures from all your buddies, that a lot of them go to the trophy farms. There's a lot of them down there, right?
Yeah.
And then, but when you go down there, because there is no Department of Wildlife. I mean, there is Department of Wildlife, but you don't really. You can hunt any time of the day. You can hunt at night. You can go out there with thermals. You can do whatever you want because there's no invasive. There's no predators on those
Right.
animals. They're populated. So, but the area we went, we looked on the map, and the area we stayed, we were in like the jungle. So it was pretty gnarly. You're slipping and falling, and I just hated that it because you think of them like elk. So when you hear them roar and that big
You're
gnarly,
talking about the red stag.
yeah, the red
Yeah.
stag. So when you hear that roar, you think you can go after 'em. You can't move. It's so thick where we were, and you couldn't move. So Chad got two in that area because they literally came like on him like somewhere and like out of nowhere. But
Yeah.
but yeah, that was gnarly. Let's see, going up caribou hunting. Oh no, that was okay. I got you. So we go caribou hunting. We get to camp. So you're at camp, and it's my first time 300 miles above the Arctic Circle, and I'm like in the middle of nowhere. We're camped, and my buddy Randall has everything set up, and he points about 400 yards to a big old grizzly bear, right? And I'm sitting there, and it's getting not, like time for us to go to sleep. It doesn't get dark, but it's getting time for us to go to sleep. And they're like, all right, well, we're just going to go ahead and turn in. And I'm thinking about every hunting show I've ever seen. I ain't never seen a black dude up there and they're just hanging out saying he going to go to bed with a damn grizzly bear 500 yards. Like I'm like, look, I'm going to die. So that night, needs to say, I slept just like this. It was everything, every moment. I was like, look, this ain't happening.
Wide-eyed.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. And then, but then you hear something in the middle of the night behind your tent, and you're like parched, like, and you're like, oh my God, that's a grizzly. Do I have any snacks? Do I have anything? Oh, and I'm like, the next day I get up and it was a muskox. It was just a muskox going by. But yeah, that was pretty freaky. Yeah.
Yeah, when you haven't, it's like I didn't grow up going into the woods, right? I mean, like you were talking about at the beginning, we'd grow up, we'd go down to the field below our house, me and the buddies, and we'd take our BB guns and we'd chase magpies and shoot. And so, as a matter of fact, I still have a BB in my face from when we were little kids out shooting. It was like the old, like, hey, you'll shoot your eye out.
Oh yeah, perfect.
We like completely random, but we were down, chasing magpies, and I was shot across this bank up into this tree, and like the magpie flew off. Like we couldn't hit anything. I mean, not at the distances that we were shooting, but my buddy, when I shot at it, got pissed off that I had shot at that bird. And he was probably 20 yards away from me. He turned, pointed the gun, and shot me, like right in the face. And it like my lip was like up like Elvis, and like it was just bleeding. Like I took my sweater. I remember it was a black and like neon green, like kind of like fleece sweatshirt. I was probably like 12 at the time. And I take it off and I put it on my face, and I finally get the bleeding to stop. And so I go back home and I tell, my mom and dad, well, I didn't tell them what happened. They're like, why is there blood all over you? And I'm like, oh, we were building a fort. And we found some wood, and I walked into a nail in one of the 2x4s. And they're like, well, you've had your tetanus shot, so like you're good. So fast forward 6 years, I'm in to get my wisdom teeth taken out. And like all of a sudden, like they come in, they do like the full x-ray thing, right? And the doctor comes in with like 7 nurses. And I'm like, what is going on here? He's like, we have a bet. And I'm like, for what? He's like, because I thought the BB had like hit, like I was a kid, I was stupid, right? I thought it hit, bounced out, right? But he's like, I bet I told them all that you've been shot in the face. And I'm like, I've never told a soul. Like, I didn't tell anybody about that. I'm like, why would you say that? And then he pulls the x-ray up and like slaps it up and flips the light on. And he's like, because there's a bullet, right? A BB, but nonetheless, like, it was like embedded. And I was like, do I need to get it removed? He's like, no, you'd have had a problem with it by now if you were going to.
Yeah.
But
nice.
But yeah.
And did you tell your mom at that time?
I eventually told them, yeah. But she wasn't there because I mean I was 18. Adult, and it was like a pre-exam, so I had gone in myself and getting ready to have it done. But yeah, anyway. Awesome. But yeah, that dude was batshit crazy, man. His whole family, like they're all like exactly where you think they would be.
Oh,
but anyway, so like I said,
Ohio stuff.
yeah, but yeah. So I mean that was my extent to the woods when we were talking about that. But I mean I spent time in the outdoors. Like we grew up skiing, wakeboarding, barefooting, different stuff like that. But yeah, I when I got started and being out in the woods, like you hear things. Like that, what you were talking about, like you see that grizzly, you're that, and and your mind starts playing tricks on you, and especially when you're out there. And I don't know why, like in the morning, it doesn't sketch me out. Is when I first started going out, 4 a.m., like you hit the trail, start hiking in, like I'm good. But for whatever reason, like when nightfall sets in, it's just it was unnerving for a little bit.
See, but and the reason
you eventually
for that,
get used to it.
Yeah, well, see, the reason for that is because it's gonna get lighter in the morning. At night, it's only gonna get darker, and you got a lot longer of just straight darkness. So yeah, I remember that moment. I remember that moment.
Yeah,
but,
that's wild. That's fun.
Yeah, for me. So, go ahead. Sorry.
No,
what was
go
that?
Ahead.
Oh, so for me growing up, it was just. I don't know. I didn't get the opportunity to do a lot of hunting. So backstory on where I'm from Warren County, North Carolina. Warren County is home of where the environmental justice movement for the United States started. It started there where we were growing up, right? Just because of the situation that had happened with our governor and PCBs. Well, the PCBs, if anybody Googles PCB dump, it shows us. We were the start of it, right? So needless to say, it was a very poor Black area that this thing happened. Well, fast forward, take that towards the hunting side of the house. It wasn't something that we did, right? Historically, all of my buddies, my buddies in high school, they would go and they would hunt and they would go and do this. And it was all the white guys because they were able to go onto their family's land that they've had and pass down from generation to generation, right? Well, we didn't have that land and we damn sure didn't have the invitation, right? So you couldn't hunt, right? We didn't have, to give you an example, in 1994, our school had 2 proms, a black and a white. Right. And the white one was at the country club and the black one was at the high school. We didn't have the first black member or non-white member of the golf course until 2003. So that'll tell you, like, so we didn't so hunting wasn't, you couldn't, I don't even know how to say, like you had nowhere to hunt. That's why you'll see on my thing, I talk a lot, a partner with nature.org and Conservancy for public land hunting and telling people, hey, that's your resource. Utilize that resource because it's for everybody, black, white, whoever doesn't have access. So
Mhm.
I really couldn't do it. I couldn't play golf. Like, I couldn't,
You're not
there was
missing out
so
on
much.
anything with golf.
Yeah. But I couldn't do a lot of things. Like my buddies,
Yeah.
they were like, man, how'd you get into it? Your granddad teach you? My granddad hunted. My granddad, the way you knew that my granddad hunted is when you got to his house and it was time to eat, everything was chicken. But if you look out on the line outside, there'll be a daggone raccoon skin. There'll be a daggone, like whatever, like it's whatever, but everything was always chicken. Cause
Yeah.
so that was his thing to hunt. And growing up, there was like no if you heard of a deer in the area, everybody was going after a whitetail at that point.
Well, yeah, that's wild. Going back, you think, like you had mentioned, like you had like the two separate proms back in '94. That's not
Yeah.
that long ago. So you're not.
I know.
So you're like 3 years older than. What are you? 49.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, you're 3 years older than me, and
Yeah.
and I think, like, I mean, there's not a lot of black people. I mean, Utah is changing, but there's not a lot of black people in Utah. Or at least there was. I mean, there
Yeah.
was like one black kid, Jeremy,
Yeah.
that I went to school with in our high school. So you kind of forget about that, and I think, you forget that was part of the culture, that there was still that separation, and then then when it comes to the land and all that other stuff, it's just, I don't know, it's wild. I think
Yeah.
I think we've come a long way, but we still
Yeah.
got a
We
ways
still
to
got
go.
yeah. Well, yeah, you definitely still have a ways to go because it's still, I mean, and man, it's the hunting industry is expanding a lot, but it's still, there's still like, you're not going to see a whole bunch of, it's increasing the number of minorities that are hunting and et cetera, et cetera. But here in the South, it's,
It's the rednecks.
yes, that mentality is still out
Yeah.
there. And the kids, the younger generation is seeing things more, but the old people still aren't dead yet. So they're still there. So their opinion still matters into a lot of things when it comes to hunt clubs and stuff like that. So it's still around. Yeah.
Well,
So yeah.
anyway.
But
well,
that's why
cool,
that's why I
though.
big game hunt.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So the big game hunting, and you talked a little bit about like the public lands, and we had that big to do with our senator that I used to really like.
Oh
Mike
yeah,
Lee.
you're in Utah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
dude, that dude's about worked himself out of a job here. I
My
mean,
God.
and the thing that pissed me off is because, like, he went on Glenn Beck's program, right? Conservative talking heads, and I used to work at iHeartRadio, and I've like sat down and met with like Glenn Beck and Sean Hannity and those guys, like big conservative and all that fun stuff. And I've met Mike Lee multiple times. He would come into the studio. He'd be on with like our local on-air talent, and I really liked him, and I do like him for a lot of things. But the fact that those guys came out and tried to call this bullshit that it's like just the liberals that are out there that are against this, I'm like, you guys are up in the freaking night, man. I mean, this is public land, and that's the thing, that you talked about, like the private landowners. They're saying that they're wanting to do that to try and sell the land to make homes more affordable. He was going to sell that stuff to his freaking donors. His biggest donors are land developers.
Yeah.
And that's who it was going to go to. And they're going to take it, and they were going to drive the price up. And my solution was like, okay, fine. If you really want to take some of these lands, only sell it to private individuals, no land developers, no real estate. And look, I'm all about like capitalism and that, but like, dude, you start the second they take like an inch of that land, dude, it's over. It'll never stop. It will never stop.
Yeah.
And now the state locally, like Spencer Cox, those guys are trying to like sneak it in again. So like the fight's like still going
Are they
on.
for
Like
real?
they, yeah, dude. So that's like I've got, my cousin's husband runs the bow fishing division here in Utah, and he's I didn't like I said. For people that listen to the podcast, like I'm new to this whole hunting world, right? The outdoor space. It's been 5 years for me, so I'm still trying to like figure all this out. So there's guys that know way more information than I do. So, you know, I'm gonna do a podcast with him and talk about that because it's, you know, it made national news. And fortunately, when like Mike Lee and those guys were starting to do that, you had like the Joe Rogans, like the Cam Haines, and all these guys that come out. It's like, dude, like you're pissing off your base.
Yes.
And it's hard enough to find the land, like you like, let alone like the freaking border crossing, right?
Yeah.
Issues where it's like it's private land and you step across the border. And I know some states have gotten better with that, but it's everybody, all these private landowners think they're John Dutton, right? Like stay off my land or I'm gonna like I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah,
But,
and it's huge. Well, see the problem. So the problem with the private landowners is our legal system, because people are terrified to allow people on their property, because if they get hurt, you're screwed. Like if you're a landowner and somebody gets hurt on your property now because somebody set precedents at suing somebody's landowner. You know, when I was in college, one of the cases or whatever, because I was originally going to go to law school and practice with my brother, was a ladder. A thief took a ladder. Have you heard this? A thief took a ladder to break into somebody's house. And when he took the ladder to break into somebody's house, the thief fell, got injured, and sued the landowner.
I've heard similar stories like that.
Yeah. So
like they're breaking in, like the window breaks and it cuts them, and like, that's why I like the castle off. Someone ever tries breaking into my house, like, and I shoot him outside, my buddy who's a cop's like, just drag their ass back in the house and finish them off.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's exactly right.
But it's look, and I get it, but that happening, and I guess that's the other problem like we have here in America is everybody is so freaking sue happy.
Yes.
It's like,
yes.
I'm not worried. Like if I go on somebody's property and I fall and hurt myself, especially if like you're in like the wilderness, like what did you think was going to happen? Like I know when I go out, like I run if I'm not watching my step, I could like blow my knee out, break a leg, sprain an ankle, fall down, go boom, all those things. But yeah, we definitely have gotten, I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard of many hunters out there doing that. It's more like, damn,
Cougars
like
is what we call them.
I shot this elk and it ran on this dude's property. So you have to sit there and try and like, okay, like, and I guess that would be the one recommendation I would have. That's what I try and do. And it's nice with some of these like hunting tools. If you do shoot something and it goes on a private property, if you have some of these tools, like you have a way to try and contact. But if you're going into an area and you know you're going to be pushing up on somebody's property, do some work in advance and have like their contact information so that you can get authorization if it runs onto their property. But anyway,
But
so,
that's. Oh, sorry. The that you said that bill is trying to be introduced a little bit. They're trying to sneak it in. Does that other people?
They're running it
like
through. They're running it through the state now. So now the state's trying to take the land, which I just barely found out about it. Just before we headed out for it was just last week, and I've been so freaking busy with work and everything else, I haven't had a chance to really dive into it. But I'm gonna have to look it up. I'll check and see if it's just here in Utah. Yeah, I'll send it to you for sure.
Yeah, please, that'd be great.
But that's the type of stuff. I mean, it's nice to have that public land, and to be able to go out and start. Like I said, I didn't grow up hunting. I got two granddaughters. My wife tells me like over her dead body, am I going to take them out hunting? But it was fun when I'd call and check in and the grandbaby was down. My little granddaughter, she's like, Papa, you kill an elk? I'm like, no, sweetheart, not yet.
Yeah.
But now the real pressure's on. She knows I'm out trying to do it. I got to come through.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
yeah.
Anthony, hey,
yeah.
tell me what you've got coming up. Have you got any hunts coming up that you're working on right now?
Oh, yeah. All right. So, I've got a busy season this year. This is probably my busiest season. I start off in Oregon chasing Roosevelt elk, with, my buddy Ben Day. He's a photographer for Arc'teryx and Columbia and all of their footwear and so forth. And he decided he wanted to hunt. And he was like, hey, I want to do this. I want to get put on an elk. And the Roosevelt elk are just different. They don't talk as much as the Rocky Mountain elk. And the people that hunt them say that they're easier. The people who don't hunt them say that it's hard. And I've done it before and it's just hard. But
I've yet to hunt anything that's easy.
Yeah. Well, that one, that is, it's real wet. It's it's real viney. Like I felt like I almost lost a buddy. I took him out there to put him on his first elk, and we're walking, and then there's ground, but the ground is like he slipped and fell, and he just went down this rock cliff, probably about 40 feet, and just slid like he was tapping to see if because the elk that we heard walking and was down there. So we were trying to figure out how to get down there to hunt him for the next day. And he was walking and slipped and just went down. And the only way for him to come out was either a 2-mile walk that way or that way through wherever. And we don't know where he come out at. Luckily, the tree that was growing had a root system, and he ended up using the root system to climb back up and get to us. And I said, buddy, you're not. I knew his mom and dad. He's a lot younger. He could technically be my son. And I was like, look, dude, we're not doing that anymore. He's like, man, I can find a way. I said, no, I don't want to talk to Nita and have Nita to come back and kick my ass. So anyway, so that's Oregon. And then after Oregon, I come back, I fly to Sitka to Middle Island Lodge, and I'll fish and hunt. And I won't hunt there, but I'll fish halibut salmon for a few days and get some good content there. And then I'll leave from there. I go to Anchorage, and then I meet up with my buddy Nathan, and he's a bush pilot. So he and I and another buddy are going to hop on there and just go park the plane on a riverbed, camp, and pray for the best. But that's going to be a moose hunt, and there will be black bear around. There'll be grizzly around, and I'm no longer an Alaska resident, so I won't be able to kill a grizzly, but they can. And there should be some caribou around, but we've all killed caribou, multiple caribou, so it's kind of like it's got to be an absolute bruiser, because the plane ride out there is so long. And, on those bush planes, you can only take a couple 100 pounds. So once we kill a moose, that means a 2.5-hour flight out and a 2.5-hour flight back to, take the meat out, come back, and then take the next one out, and then pack all your stuff and get that out. It's going to be a lot. So so that's going to be that. But if we see a bruiser caribou, then it's going to go down.
Put it down. Right on.
Yeah. And then after that, I come back, and then I go to New Mexico, Unit 5B for elk, which I've been wanting New Mexico my entire hunting life. New Mexico Unit 5B for elk. So I'm hoping that that's going to prove to be successful. I flew out there a couple weeks ago just to scout it and just kind of see the terrain and see where I'm going to be. So I'm excited about that. And then I come back and I do whitetail. I'll go to Ohio. Ohio's kind of my nemesis for the people that that are out there. I get to Ohio, I always see this monster whitetail, and I normally see them on opening day or my opening day of being there, and I never get to harvest them. And anything else I'm not chasing because I want that one. So that's been my nemesis for like 12 years. Yeah. Let's see. Then after that, I come back, I head to Mag Bay with Warrior Cabo, and I'll be in Mag Bay for 3 weeks fishing the best fishery, I think, in the world. There's a 2-mile circumference of sardines. Like I'm talking, it's nothing to catch 40 to 50 marlin a day. And here you go 3 days to try to catch one. So I'll be there for a couple weeks. And then after that, hop into January. And I may go to Oklahoma for a whitetail with Central Flight, but I'm not sure about that one yet. And then hop into January. I'm definitely back out. I'll be with Central Flight for 3 weeks, and that'll be all geese and ducks. So, yeah.
You got a full plate, brother.
Yeah, brother. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be wide open, man. Wide
That's
open.
awesome.
I absolutely love it. I'm most excited. I'm most excited about the moose hunt because the last moose I killed was in Canada with a bow at 17 yards, and that intensity, that like, but getting a Yukon moose is going to be, I'm looking forward to, because I like to be able to take some guys and float their Yukon for a few days, not for a few days, for 111 miles for as long as it takes. Right. And so I want to do that in 2 years. So, yeah.
It sounds like a blast, brother. That's exciting.
Yeah. You want to come hop on the boat with us?
Yeah, man. Let me know.
Yeah. Come on, man. It's a once in a lifetime thing. Although I'll probably do it a couple times, but it's you just float that river.
For other people, it's a once in a lifetime.
Yeah. But it's and I think that going back to, not to hop back on the public lands portion of things, but Alaska will change. Like, I think that Alaska will change. I think that the number of opportunities to hunt in the lower 48 is declining so much that people are going to start flocking to Alaska. And so the over-the-counter moose tags for areas like that, I think they are going to dwindle. So I think that people, if it's on your list, I know everybody in Alaska is going to be like, don't say that, and more people are going to come up here hunting or whatever. But if it's on your list to do, and you have the knowledge and the ability to survive, because you can't like call the cops or if you have the ability to survive, then I say go out and do it. And now's the time.
I think that's great advice. Yeah, I've talked to a couple guys, Hiram, who runs the King Salmon Lodge up there in Alaska, and he said the same thing. He's like, if you've ever wanted to go to Alaska, like, don't wait, go. And there's multiple reasons to do it, but I would say that's the same for any type of hunting. I mean, like, the population continues to grow. People are always going to be trying to build new homes and that, and you never know what's going to happen. Right now, you have a government that is trying to like bolster the economy, so they're going to look at any different way that they can to try and get that growth to come. And so regardless of whatever type of hunting it is, if it's something that you want to do, I would say definitely go out and do it. Anthony, hey, as we wrap up here, if people want to find you on Instagram or any of the other socials, where would they go to look you up?
So on Instagram, I'm Complete Outdoors, and that's the main way to find me, Complete Outdoors on Instagram, or they can reach me at captainanthony.com, CAPTAnthony.com. And that will link you to everything. It'll link you to Cleat Life. It'll link you to Warrior Cabo fishing. It'll link you to just opportunities to do some of the coolest shit. And I want to tell everybody out there right now is that I started doing what I'm doing what I would consider early. People are like, why don't you wait until you retire? Well, because you can. Because you can't. I've had over the years, I think I've been exposed to so many people that have said to me over my hunting career and my explorations, hey man, I really want to come do that with you. I really need to do that, but the time is not right. And those people died. So that's the reason why I just go. Like I go, there's certain things that I should have focused a little bit more on this, focus more on that. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be here and you don't know when that is. So everybody, please just get your ass up and do it. That's my mantra. Get your ass up.
All right, Anthony, I appreciate you guys. Go give him a follow. Complete Outdoors or captanthony.com. We'll put links in the show notes as well. But just want to thank everybody for following. Make sure that if you're listening to the podcast, give it a like, share it with a friend. And again, thanks for listening to the Hunt Stealth Podcast, the fastest growing hunting podcast in the nation.